Alright, welcome back to the channel. I've been wanting to work on this Bridgestone for a while. I have other stuff I should probably be doing instead, but I always do. So why not? This is the Bridgestone MB2, probably from the early 90s, that I dug out of a free box at a local nonprofit. So far I can't see anything. They didn't recycle it. I haven't seen anything that's a super deal breaker. Lots of damage, lots of beat up stuff, but nothing major. Had one braze-on replaced. Whatevs. So I decided to do some digging. I want to do a free bike build. That's fun. Kids are into it. I'm poor. And I'm going to build this up as a shop bike. I might put it up for sale if someone really wants it. Most of them will leave it in the way so that whenever I'm here and don't have my car or don't feel like driving, I guess if I do have my car, because my bike won't be here, so I'm right down here, I'll have something to ride. I go up to my wheel builder all the time. It's 3-4 blocks away. There's a great pizza place like 7-8 blocks away. I'm not driving for that. I've been walking it every day, and that's fine, but just for the sake of time and the sake of fun, having a shop bike would be more cool. I started digging a little bit already. I got these old Hand Racer Pasela 26 1.5s. I got these at the CCC. I probably should have got it out of the free box, but instead I paid like $10 for them. This one's got a giant gash and a boot. The other one has a giant gash and no boot, so I'll have to do a little bit of work on that. I was looking for a fork for a while, and I wasn't finding anything I wanted to buy or was cool or was tall enough. But good old BMX Gary, who is cool and watches these videos and a friend of the shop, and we hang out on Sundays usually, go do some bike picking and get some burritos. He brought me this fork over for free, or threw it in some hub adjustments and some stuff, It's got lots of steer. I think it's JIS. I'm pretty sure this head to the JIS. If not, we'll ream those dudes out to ISO. I have tons of old headsets off old bikes. I'm pretty sure this old silver, totally worth $0. Chrome, steel, low-end JIS headset will work fine. I was digging in my closet and I found some wheels that I've saved from the recycling many times. There's some old Dior LX. The hubs are fine. The rims are a little beat. They're not like worn out. They have some wear. They still have tons of ammo. They have what you call cupping. The rim's not flat anymore, so it looks like it's worn out. It's like concaved in. And that's usually from some cheap ass riding them really hard with worn out brake pads. They're just squeezing really hard, trying this thing to slow down and stop and dent these old rims. So that's the front. Here's the matching rear. Hub feels fine. They're probably roundish and truish. I feel like I've checked them out. It's even got a cassette I may or may not use. I dig around. Cassette body doesn't feel great. I don't care. It'll be fine. Someone gave me a whole bike a while ago because I just wanted the brake levers off of it. So I just cut the cable and housing and just took the bar and stem home to get the brake levers off. I've been kicking around. It's a steel riser bar, a little white stem, but it might look cool with Bridgestone with the white stuff. I don't know. I think it's cool. Get me up high. Sick. I started digging through my bins and stuff, and I found an LX crankset. Might have come off the same bike as these wheels, honestly. They're fine. The rings are a little worn. This one's actually got the logo on. It's not that scruffy. They're only 170s. They're LX. No one wants them. They're a little scruffy, so no one cares. They're short. I might dig around some more. I don't know if they're short. But I also have this whole bin of stuff, and there's some DX shifters, some LX derailleurs. Here's a long rear LX derailleur. It's in good shape. I might use it. I got some real scruffy XT ones too, but what's the point? The LX hubs and stuff? I don't know. It might be cool. There's the bottom bracket in here, but I'm going to go 1x, I think, so I'll need a shorter bottom bracket. I have a bin of used and free bottom brackets. The LX brakes we may or may not use. So we got some stuff. We got to start digging and find the stuff we want. I think the first thing I want to do is double check if there's any longer cranks. I got this little tray because These are long. I never see these in the long. I always see them in the shorter version. Ah, see, this has some of the clicks sometimes, not other times. I was thinking about spraying it out so I can get all the clicks. Do I want these? I have used these before and I know I love them. Why am I being all... I don't think I have. I always use short pull, shorter reach ones. Should I look at my thummies? I don't know. All kinds of shift levers. I got like a 8-speed Altus thing. Here's like the 6-7 speed thummies I took off the other handlebar. 8-speed trigger shifter. Single Dior light action front. Single beat up Dior thummy rear 7-speed. It's beat up. It's a little ugly, but otherwise in good shape. It's missing the barrel adjuster, but I got barrel adjusters for days. This is the shifter I want to use. Do we want to go super poop? I got one of these Acera long cage rear derailleurs. They're cheap and nothing special. Definitely free and worth probably $5 used, maybe. I think they're 15 new. They have the mega range pulleys. These things wrap so much chain. They're amazing for one buys, hybrids, sort of stuff. That'd be kind of more fun. I'm getting into more fun. I got a mismatched shifter. I got a mismatched derailleur. I've got these cranks, which I put on Avery's hybrid and took off. Like a more modern Shimano 175. Silver, modern. It's got a 4-bolt, it's got a bash guard. It's already got a chain ring. Should I use these ugly modern wide things? I probably just hate them. Probably happier with some 80s super narrow brakes. I got some Sugino ATs, they're too nice. Yeah, this has like an inch of clearance. I do have some junky 80s cranks at home. Shifters, the whole thing, friction. A little backwards on this. Should I just use this Dior stuff, which I keep saying is like, yeah, it's kind of too nice. I think this all came off of one bike. I paid like $40 for the whole bike. That's a little scruffy. The other side's nice. Dior's 175s. DX derailleurs. You got the kind of cooler brakes, shifters, chain rings. I do have an XT derailleur and then an 8-speed one. It would be sexier. There's nothing sexy about this. Oh, yeah. Another one will handle like a 34 tooth, like cassette, like no problem. This will probably handle like a 28 tooth, but it's like sexier. This thing was almost meant for it. Oof. Oof. One day. Hard to make decisions. It is hard to make decisions. I say we just get started and see how far we get. Let's just try and do like the wheels and tires and fork. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff for one video. Okay, I think I was wrong. Hammered a JIS crown race on this. No problem. Went to put the headset cups in, they fell right in. I think that thing's ISO. I think we're making this fork ISO. I think the lower headset cup on that's stretched out a little bit. People ride the fork loose. So I have to do some. Jeebus. This vice is so good. One little touch makes it fall sometimes. Horrifying. I might have to do, let's say it is, I might have to do some tricks. Use some aluminum shim tape, make that bottom cup stick in. It'll stick in with everything else tightening down, but you know, make it right. So I got out my crown race cutter, cut to ISO. My old one did not have a bearing. So this one's technically nicer because it's got this cool bearing, but it's also more annoying because this cool bearing falls off constantly. Wish I had some sort of retainer clip. So what you're going to do is cover this thing with a little bit of cutting oil. Blop, blop, blop. Blop, blop, blop. Cover these teeth with a little cutting oil. There's no such thing as enough cutting oil. Pop this bearing in. It's got these springs, which are basically the spacers, so 2 is too many. Thread this dude on. We want some spring tension on this cutter so it doesn't chatter. Cut, chrome's hard. It's already trying to chatter. Maybe it needs more tension. Probably needs less. To cut the tops off. It's getting full of little burrs. Get rid of those. Add more cutting fluid. Cutting fluid's expensive, but like, this cutter's $1 million more than that cutting fluid. These chips out of the way. Little more cutting fluid. Nothing going on here. There we go. So before this is cutting the steer, now we're cutting the face flush too. Making sure everything's as nice as it can be to put a half-dead garbage headset on. Lol. You always keep cutting while you're pulling off. You never go backwards because it's all the teeth. Just kind of lift up gently while still spinning it in the cutting direction. This bearing's driving me nuts. It's not a good design. The old one didn't have one, it didn't need it. Flick all this shrapnel off. It looks real good. Using a dirty rag that's really only for this sort of thing, so we know it's going to be full of shrapnels. If you ever go anywhere near an actual bearing with this, you will be sad. Here's my free trick for how to install a crown race. Put the crown race on. Use an old dead crown race off a different headset upside down. So now it's the skinniest parts touch the skinniest parts, so nothing's going to be hitting on the bearings. I have the Park crown race installer tool that is like $160 or whatever. And it's for aluminum cups. It's for like flat stainless or flat aluminum stuff for sealed cartridges. You just damage the cups. This is really the best way. This is that tool, but without the little fancy cups. I'm just sticking it on the top. You can use a hammer and just give it some taps until it makes the sound change. It should go ting, 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 tong, tong, tong when it's like set. We'll see. I heard a sound change. And you always check, sometimes another hit, sometimes one corner is a little bit up. That's pretty good. There's no gaps, no daylight. Give it one more tap. Almost there's a gap. There it is, crown race installed. Now let's press those headset cups in. Upper cup. It fits about how it's supposed to. You can't push it in. It kind of sits there, a little taper. Almost feel like it's going to go in like a millimeter or two, then it doesn't. That's right. Bottom cup slides all the way in, no problems. That's wrong. This is aluminum HVAC tape. Another mechanic taught me this trick actually really recently, and it works really good. Take a couple strips of this, wrap it around this cup. I really care about rubbing alcohol and all that, but I bet it'll be fine. Just a hoodie wipe. So I'm just putting a thin layer around the outside of this cup. Do the rest of it too. And this is aluminum, so it's tough. And with any luck, it'll press in, take up all the slack, make the cup be totally cool. The old way we used to do this was take a little hammer and a nail, stick the nail in here, and hammer all around, making little dimples all around the nail. So it'll push in and push the metal up around it like a volcano. Just give it a little bit of tooth, a little bit of raised area to help. But this way is probably better. Probably. Alright, one little layer, thin aluminum, very thin, very aluminum. And yeah, it presses in just a little bit. I think that'll do it. I've got the Park headset press. You can just use a long piece of all thread you can buy at the hardware store for like $5, and a couple of washers to hold the cups down, and some nuts on both ends, and just tighten the wrench. You can press headsets in that way. I've done this the old school way with metal headsets. I wouldn't do it with aluminum. With metal, I just put a 2x4 on top of here, whack it with a hammer. You can do that too. But you see, I have this press, and it's nice. It's easy, and I can't think of a reason not to just use the right thing when you have it. Come on, click into place. Come on. There we go. Now, theory, these will just both press in evenly. I know some guys are paranoid, pressing one at a time. That seems more shady to me. Pressed in. Looking all the way around the lugs, all the way around both sides. Making sure you cannot see any daylight. I swear I can see daylight on this side. I'm going to give it one little more squeeze. It's probably just going in the dark over here. There's that tinfoil tape hanging down. Maybe this thing's not faced right. I have seen guys really try and get out a little spot of daylight and freak out and over tighten this so much that crunch the head tube. So, you know, make sure what you're seeing isn't just like dirt or a raised lip or some, you know, metal damage. Really just try to make sure this cup isn't in crooked and not a big giant gap on this side. You just want the bearings to be pressed in evenly. Otherwise they'll just wear out right away. Your heads will come loose all the time. Here's a dusty old dirty grease gun, which may or may not work. Little plunger on the bottom looks pretty crooked. It looks pretty empty. But maybe. Wipe this guy down. Oh yeah, we got some grease. I'm just shooting a layer all along here. See a little hair. All along the race where the bearings actually touch. Same thing inside here. Same thing on the fork crown race. Always forget this, and your hands are full and you're trying to put it in. Set this aside. We've also got the top cup that screws on. Get it preloaded too. Make sure all the dirt and hair isn't in here. You can clean these correctly with like a brush, solvent, all sorts of stuff, but it's a beater bike, it's probably fine. There's also just like an O-ring in here. Is it for the top? Is it for the bottom? I don't know. Make more sense on the bottom. Maybe. Dropping this bottom bearing on here, squishing that grease, getting it preloaded. Shoot a little bit more around it too, just cause. I see guys barely put any grease on stuff all the time, so I don't like wiping it off or something. I say you really can't put too much grease on. All it's going to do is squeeze out. You wipe it off with a rag at the end. So don't be afraid of greasing stuff. I'm going to grease these threads as well. Now we're going to load in this preloaded fork. Come on, Barbara. Spin on this preloaded top tube. I guess I could put those bearings down here. And where'd that O-ring go? O-ring's trying to be a brat. It's trying to be a brat. Come on, O-ring. I want you on here into work, and now it's decided it's like 2 sizes too big. Out of nowhere, it's magically huge. I think this O-ring doesn't really go with this. I think maybe someone's put it in there. It's nice to have an O-ring on the bottom cup because your road tire sprays so much muddy water and right up there. I've seen guys, when they're installing a fork, cut a chunk of inner tube and put it over here like a condom. So it's like covering both the headset cups. Keep mud and grit from getting in there. It's ugly, it sure is doable. This one I'm just gonna not care. We'll just ditch this dumb O-ring. Definitely doesn't fit. It's definitely not the right thing. Or we'll try it on the top. Maybe it fits the top for some dumb reason instead. Here's a fun trick if you want. It's way more fun than trying to thread that top nut on. Spin, spin, spin. Just holding the top nut and spinning the fork. Instead of holding the fork and spinning the top nut. This fork is so tall. There's so many extra threads. I'm getting those bars up high, bro, high. Editing about 5 minutes out of this. And we made it. Look at that. We're up, we're high. I'm getting grease off now because I'll go wash my hands and come back and actually touch it and be all mad. Don't like grease. Oh, The rest of this headset has another giant O-ring that definitely wouldn't fit. Some cobbled in there. It's got three locking spacers for reasons. You should really only use one. And I'll probably use it on the top, even though it's keyed all the way down. I could definitely use it on the bottom. Probably cause all sorts of problems. Whatever. Now we put the top nut on and we're totally done. Except for all this giant amount of exposed thread. So the cool guy will tell you to cut all this extra thread off, have it as low as possible, and slam your stem and look like a racer from the 70s. I ain't that guy. We're cruising this bike. I'm gonna fill this thing full of spacers, and it's got candy bosses, so technically I need some sort of front cable stop. Oh yeah, on my cable stop's got some new old stock headsets hitting the back of the door I forgot about. Got a new old stock Specialized needle bearing headset. Got a new old stock Tongue Levine headset. I have a Dirt Ace box. Do I actually have? Oh, it's a beat up used Dirt Ace headset, but still pretty hot. And I have this new old stock Strong Light needle bearing headset. Very hot. Saving these needle bearing ones for a sweet rando. Ooh, this is a pretty stop. But I think that's 1/8". Ugly inch one. Old kind of cool Diacopy one. Here's just an ugly black, like cheap velvet orangey style aluminum one. Oh, here's, I think that's 1/8" too. Let's use this velvet orange style one. Either that or some vintage Shimano ones that need barrel adjusters and whatnot. Some French ones. A real old black one with a weird cable stop in it. It's actually pretty cool. Aluminum one. How do you fits? It's pretty good. I put at least one spacer under it, so I'm going to make sure I get a wrench in there. Really cheapy, ugly black one. Oh, it's kind of like uglier. The bike's kind of ugly. I kind of like it. I like it more. Yeah. Please. Oh, this would be heaven. Oh, this is a giant piece of carbon fiber. This would be so hot if it fit over that, but it doesn't. This is my random used stuff. I think it is mostly 1.8". That might be enough for just 1, 2, 3. Bangarang. So I got a bunch of headset spacers on here. They're ugly and mismatched. We're gonna do a little bit of partying. I'm gonna do this polished silver one underneath this guy. Sick. And this giant black one. Let's do one more silver one. Silver one, giant black one, giant silver one, other giant black one, thick silver one, mixed, matched. Now this top nut. I think I want like another thread of this nut touching, so I'm going to get rid of this one medium silver one and put in the skinnier silver one. Watch it'll hit. Just no. I think that'll be like barely perfect. Freshies, grease, and this brand new fork. I don't think this fork's ever been used. Here I am just mangling it. Going right to that minimum insertion, get this guy as high as we can. For heinousness. What do you think? Guess we should get the wheels done and on here. Stand over and play with it. Check on the old seat post size. What do we think it is? It could be 27, it could be 27.2, I don't know. 26.8. Yeah, 26.8 is a pretty common old mountain bike size. Nah. It's an old Japanese 27.0. It seems too loose. Here's an old Japanese 27.2. I think we have a winner. 27.2. I don't think this is 20. This is 26.4. I got this huge, ridiculous one. I've been using it as a frame builder seat posts, but I don't have to. I got like 50 27.2 seat posts missing heads. I can use as a frame builder post. Oh, this guy's a little tight. Ooh, that's real tight. This little modern one doesn't fit right. So we're going to have to ream this tube out 27.2 or use a vintagey seat post. It's a shame, this thing's real ugly and it's ridiculously tall. Would fit anybody's. Well, womp womp, high cost of free. Decided to slap the wheels and tires together. I ended up reaming the seat post out anyways because every modern seat post was just slightly too tight. So I reamed it out just a tiny bit. There's a couple little high spots like some silver or brass in there from when I welded it. Got this really tall seat post in so it can go up or down. That's as low as I reamed it, like down to here, so it doesn't want to go any farther than that. But this is probably still needs to come up a couple centimeters. Found this ugly white saddle. What I also found was that this fork is definitely not for 26. Tire almost touches the top. Brake posts are way too low. I put it on this fork apply for 24 or something. Wah, wah, wah. So, and it is like an inch lower than all the 26-inch forks. They have to have enough threads. So I still have to find a different fork, which is cool. I wanted a not chrome fork anyways. I wanted to add some braze-ons to it. I want to do something to this thing. So, and then I found out this tire, it has that gash in it, it's been booted, but it is like huge. This whole thing's sticking out like, is more than 7 millimeters wide. It's all sticking on the sides. This tire's not legit to ride on. I'd feel that. It would get a flat pretty quick. Tires that I paid money for. Now they're trash. So we made it a little bit of the ways and then got foiled. I think I have a 110 bash guard at home that I like, that'll bring down here. It didn't cost me anything. You know, it's kind of the end of the day anyway, so that's it for today. I need to find another fork. Need to get a bash guard. I need to make decisions about derailleurs and whatnot. I do have a single 1.5 Rubino, Victoria Randonneurs or whatever. I hate them. They ride so bad. I might put it on here anyways. Or I have a couple used sets of tires. I got a matching set of barely used Marathon Pluses. I also hate those. They ride like hard rubber bouncy balls are the worst. And I have a set of like low-end Fred Meyer brand, like Bell brand, like 1.9s. At least they'd be fatter. So maybe I'll switch to those. They're so cheesy. Whatever. Sad about these tires. I love these tires. I'd have been very happy about it. I found used tubes I got in there. I did put new rim tape in. The old stuff was old and hard and falling apart. But it was still new rim tape. I got new old stock. I went to swap me and I got a giant box of it for like a couple of bucks. So it's basically free. It's like I paid the price of like one rim tape and got like 20. So kind of a sad place to end this video on. That is it so far. I will make another video as soon as I find a fork and get some more parts. Maybe I'll do the rest of the stuff while I'm waiting on a fork. Hook everything else up, why not? Maybe I'll find a sick 1-inch disc fork. I do have another chrome fork here. It's 1-inch threadless. I don't want to buy a headset. I don't have any 1-inch threadless headsets. Otherwise I would have slapped it in. It was free too. Anyways, thanks for watching.